Hi, my name is Nick. I'm the discipleship pastor here at Maryland, and one of the favorite aspects of my job is that I get to be a part of helping people connect to God and each other here at MCC. And so you guys are doing that right now in a significant way because you're sitting in a C group. C groups are really the primary way that people connect with each other at a church our size. And so I love that you've taken the risk to do that. The first week of C group's always a little bit fun because you're in a new house or maybe in a new group for the first time, or you guys are meeting again after a summer off and everybody's getting reacquainted. You're like, oh yeah, why does this house always smell this way when I come in? And man, I hope my kids don't break any of their stuff. And hey, is the babysitter gonna stop that kid from coming up the stairs again for the 5th time because we've tried to do this now? Where is she? Why are we paying her, right? And so we've all kind of settled into that awkward first week of C group. And listen, that's kind of inevitable, but what I want you to do, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to embrace the awkward. I want you to look around right now. Look at the people next to you on the couch, across the room, in the coffee shop, and just look at them and say, hey, let's embrace the awkward. Okay, we're past that, right? We've embraced it. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into C groups and we're going to make some commitments to each other. We're going to make a commitment to be vulnerable. Community doesn't work if we hide. If we hide behind silence or masks or church answers, we're not going to go deep and get to share life with each other. And so we're going to make a commitment to be vulnerable. We're going to make a commitment to show up. Who's been in a C group where somebody comes once and then you never see them again the rest of the semester? Really, really hard to grow close to somebody that you're not around, right? So let's make a commitment to proximity. Let's be in proximity with each other. Let's try as much as we can to consistently meet as a group. Maybe even meet outside of the group and have some fun. Go ice skating, go get some coffee. Man, go to a pumpkin farm. I don't know, it's Indiana. There's a ton of agricultural stuff to do, right? So go do that, okay? And here's the last commitment that I want us to make. I want us to make the commitment to be prepared. Let's really engage our scriptures. Let's engage prayer. Let's engage the group message. Let's engage the process that we're really lucky to be able to do with each other. Man, there's not a lot of churches that have a lot of people that actually want to meet together. And you guys get to be a part of that. And so as we kick off the semester, let's really make those commitments and let's do everything that we can to facilitate a group environment where people feel open, cared for, and known, right? And so, that being said, the fall series that we are starting here at MCC is Radical Generosity. And before you get cynical, because I know some of you hear generosity and you're like, I knew it, this is where they ask for my money. Baby, hold on to the wallet when we go back there. We're not doing it. Listen, money's a part of being generous, but that's really not what we're talking about for the next 4 weeks. What we're talking about is generosity of the heart. At its core, generosity is much more than you writing a check. And I'm going to be honest, in some ways, just giving money can be a cop-out. Because in a lot of ways, being generous with our money is the easiest thing for us to be generous with. And so now that we've broken down kind of the cynical wall, let me explain to you what I mean. If you write a check, for a lot of us, we can write a check of a certain denomination, maybe even once a month, and we don't even feel it. And so we've given, but we haven't necessarily been generous through a biblical lens. And what I mean by that is generosity is sacrificing things that are ours for the good of other people because we love them. And so this week, we heard Pastor Doug kick off the series and talk about what it looks like to be generous with our time. I would much rather, if I can just be selfish and honest with you, remember the vulnerable commitment I talked about? I'm going to practice that right now. I would much rather be generous with my money than my time because it's a lot easier for me to take 3 seconds to write a check or click online give than it is for me to take an afternoon to help somebody move or to redo my entire week so I can go help somebody in need, or to paint something or build something or volunteer in the nursery or go on a mission trip, or you fill in the blank with whatever it is that you want. Help a neighbor. Generosity with our time hurts because we feel it, because our time's precious, right? So listen, I don't know about you or your family, but for us, one of the things that's happened this fall is we looked up and realized that we're actually home maybe 2 nights a week out of 7. Does that sound familiar to any of you guys? And so when you have a schedule that is full to the brim and has you going at a pace that you feel like you can barely keep up with, generosity with your time hurts because you're like, I don't have any, right? And so listen, God calls us to balance. Nobody wants you to burn yourself out and constantly be doing things. We're called to rest. We're called to enjoy life. We're called to prioritize our family, and we're called to love other people. And so here's my question for you guys as you go into group today. What does it look like for you to be generous with your time? There's not one right answer for that. There's not one way to do it. There's not one place that you're generous with your time or one activity. But there is the common thread of looking at your schedule and saying, what does it look like for me to structure my schedule in a way that I am setting aside time that I give specifically to love and care about other people? I think that's a great question for us to all ask, and that's something I hope we dig into as we look at what it looks like to be generous with our time this week.